I was mopping the fourth floor hallway at 3 a.m. It was dead silent. The kind of silence that hurts your ears. Then I heard it. Thump, thump, thump. It was coming from room 402. The room that had been bricked up for 15 years. I stopped mopping. I held my breath. Then, a voice, a girl's voice, whispered from behind the sealed door. It sounded wet, like her throat was full of blood. Mike, the rope is slipping. I dropped my bucket because nobody alive knew my name in that building. Welcome back to Pure Dread Stories. I am your host, David. Universities are supposed to be places of learning, but sometimes they become graveyards. There is a dormitory at Blackwood University in Ohio known as the Aviary. Built in 1950, it's a labyrinth of red brick and flickering fluorescent lights. Officially, the fourth floor is closed for asbestos removal, but the students whisper a different story. They whisper about the two girls who lived in room 402. The girls who made a pact that went horribly wrong. Today's story comes from a man named Mike, a former night custodian who spent 20 years patrolling those halls. He saw things that the administration tried to bury. So, turn off the lights, put on your headphones, and ask yourself, who is standing in the corner of your room right now? Let's enter the nightmare. My name is Mike. I'm a simple guy. I keep my head down, I do my job, I go home. For 2 decades, my job was cleaning the Aviary. It's one of those old Gothic-style dorms. Gargoyles on the roof, narrow hallways, radiators that hiss like snakes. The students were mostly fine. Messy, loud, but fine. But the building itself, it had a personality, and it wasn't a nice one. Especially the fourth floor. Even before the incident, the fourth floor felt heavier. You know that feeling when you walk into a funeral home? That thick, cold air? That's what the fourth floor felt like, even in July. There was one room at the end of the hall. Room 402. It was supposed to be empty. Storage. But every night, like clockwork, I'd hear sounds coming from inside. It started with knocking. Knock, knock, knock. It wasn't a polite knock. It sounded like someone was taking a hammer to the bathroom tiles inside. Just smashing them over and over again. I reported it to the dean. He told me it was old pipes and to mind my own business. But pipes don't giggle, and pipes don't scratch at the door from the inside. I remember when it's fall semester 2007. 2 girls moved into 402. Sarah and Emily. They were best friends, inseparable. They laughed constantly. They were the kind of students who brought me coffee when I was working late. Then Sarah met Tyler. Tyler wasn't a student. He was an older guy who hung around campus. He had this look in his eyes, predatory. Sarah fell hard, and within a month, the laughter in room 402 stopped. Sarah stopped going to class. She stopped going to the dining hall. I'd see her in the hallway sometimes. She looked gray. Her skin was hanging off her bones. Her eyes were sunken, surrounded by dark bruises. Emily tried to save her. I heard them arguing through the door. "He's killing you, Sarah," Emily would scream. "You need to eat." But Sarah would just mumble a low, rhythmic chanting. "He loves me to the bone. He loves me to the bone." It was obsession. It was sickness. Then came the smell. It wasn't the smell of trash. It was the smell of rot. Sweet, cloying decay. I knocked on the door to check the pipes. Sarah opened it just a crack. The smell hit me like a physical blow. "Everything is fine, Mike," she whispered, but over her shoulder, I saw the room. The walls were covered in writing. Thousands of times, she had written the name Tyler in red marker on the walls, on the mirrors, on the ceiling. She grinned at me. Her teeth were yellow. "We're just redecorating," she said. 2 days later, silence. "Good evening, Mike," she said. But it wasn't Emily's voice. It was Sarah's voice. I froze. The hair on my arm stood up. "Sarah is gone, Emily," I said gently. She stopped. She turned her head slowly, distinct cracks popping in her neck. "No, she's not," she grinned. "She's on the ceiling. She likes to watch me sleep." I looked up involuntarily. Nothing was there. But the shadows, they seemed to move on their own. A week later, Emily was gone. She didn't use the shower rod. She went to the roof. A student saw her standing on the ledge of the aviary. He said she wasn't alone. He said he saw a dark, shadowy figure standing behind her, pushing her. But when the police checked the roof, there were only Emily's footprints. They sealed room 402 the next day, brick and mortar, closed forever. Fast forward to last year, 2023, a freshman named Jason moved into room 404, right next door to the sealed room. Jason was a skeptic, a tough kid. He stopped me in the hall one night. "Mike, the pipes in 402 are banging again," he said. "There are no pipes in 402, I told him. "They cut the water years ago." Jason looked nervous. "Well, someone is in there. I hear them whispering. What do they say?" Jason swallowed hard. "They say, 'Is he coming? Is he coming?'" I told Jason to request a room transfer. He laughed it off. 3 nights later, I found Jason on the roof. It was 2 a.m. I was doing my rounds and saw the door to the roof access was open. I ran up the stairs. Jason was standing on the ledge, exactly where Emily had stood 15 years ago. He was tranced out, staring at the moon. "Jason!" I yelled. "Get down!" He didn't hear me. He was talking to someone next to him. "Okay," he whispered. "Okay, I'll join you." I lunged. I grabbed the back of his hoodie just as he leaned forward. I pulled him back onto the gravel. We both fell hard. He looked at me, confused, like he just woke up from a dream. "Mike," he gasped. "Where did she go?" "Who?" "The girl," Jason said, shaking. "The girl with the broken neck. She was holding my hand. She said she was lonely." I looked at the ledge. In the dust, right next to Jason's sneaker prints, were a set of bare footprints. Small, delicate, and they faded into nothing. That was my last shift. I went downstairs handed in my keys, and never looked back. They say the aviary is going to be renovated next year. They plan to knock down the wall of room 402. I pity the construction crew, because sometimes when you break down a wall, you don't let the light in, you let the darkness out. I still dream about that hallway, and in my dreams, the knocking doesn't stop. It gets louder. Thump, thump, thump. And I know one day the door will open. And that is the legend of Room 402. A tale of toxic love, madness, and a haunting that refuses to die. Now, I have a question for you. Do you believe spirits can trap the living in a loop of their own trauma? Was Jason almost pushed? Or was he pulled? Let me know your theories in the comments below. I read every single one. If this story gave you a reason to keep your door locked, please smash that like button and share this with a friend who lives in a dorm. I am David, and this is Pure Dread Stories. Until next time, stay safe and don't listen to the whispers.